It's the Man Space Podcast. Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, Voice Girl, and welcome once again to another edition of the Man Space Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and normally I toss it over to my co-host Big Les, but this week I'm running solo. Due to traveling and scheduling issues, Les and I couldn't get together this week to record an episode, but we did not want to leave you without a new episode of the Man Space Podcast. This week, I'm in this beautiful city of Troy, Michigan at the Leadership Experience Tour. I got a chance to interview a couple of gentlemen that just have such amazing stories. First is Mr. Mark Rodriguez. Mark is the only stonemason in the world that has faced not one, but two double lung transplants and still works in the field. This man has such an amazing story of triumph and redemption, and I am honored to have him with us for just a few moments. Secondly is Mr. Tula Cabone. He is the founder and CEO of the Success Candle Co., and this company has been voted the #1 fragrance brand in all of Southeast Michigan. We're going to get into some of the details of how he got into this line of work. But coming up first is my interview with Mark Rodriguez. And as you listen to this interview, ask yourself, Manspace Nation, what would you do if you were told that you had 2 months to live? What would you do if the very job, the very profession that you chose to put food on the table, to provide for your family, is the very thing that's killing you? What would you do, Manspace Nation? So, Mark, right off the bat, how did you get into stonemasonry? Because I never see like little boys and girls saying, man, I want to go break a rock. I want to be a baseball player. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. But, getting into stonemasonry, how did you get into this field?
That's a good question. Well, I graduated high school, and my brother was working for a buddy of his who's doing stonework. And they had come by my dad's house to fill up their water jug. And they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm about to go look for a job." And they said, "Well, you just found one. Come with us." I said, "Well, what are you doing?" And they said, "We're laying flagstone." I said, "What's flagstone?"
Right.
And they said, "It's this flat rock, and we make sidewalks out of it." And the only reason I went is because I thought they were lying to me. I was like, "There's no such thing as flat rock. Come on, man."
Right.
And that was really the only reason why I went, was because I thought they were lying, and I wanted to find out for myself.
Wow.
Well, needless to say, I didn't deal with flagstone too much because they had me mixing batches and batches of cement by hand.
Oh, man.
So,
yeah.
That's really how it all began. But it opened a door for me that has brought a lot of value to my life. It's brought a lot of pain and heartache, but it's been real, real good to me as well.
So when you go through the process of learning this skill, learning this craft, but then you find that the very skill that you've learned and that's putting food on your table and that's providing for your family is contributing to a disease that's could almost take your life, that could have taken your life. Like, what goes through your mind at that point?
Well, it's funny that you asked that because even early on, when they were trying to teach me something about it, it wasn't like I was learning something for the first time. It felt more like I was just remembering something. And I've always had this real strong connection to stonework. I truly believe that I did it in another life. And I feel like I may have done it as a slave, but I was good at it and I was loyal. And so I was rewarded in this life to be able to do it for monetary gains.
So it's just a level of comfortability for you.
It's like I said, like I wasn't learning something for the
Mhm.
first time.
Yeah.
I was just recalling something.
Yeah.
But when it got to that point, like the disease that I got doesn't reveal itself
Mhm.
until the end stage when there's
Mhm.
nothing you can do about it.
Right.
But for a brief time, I did feel like I got kicked in the head. Like
Right.
I had put all these years into this career, and now it was killing me.
Mhm.
I had given it everything that I had,
Right.
but now I felt like it had taken everything from me.
Right.
And so it was a weird place to be in. But then you know, having to look deep within myself and find what I was grateful for, I found a lot more things that I was grateful for than I was mad about,
Right.
of the effects that it had on my life and the things that it brought into my life. And admittedly, uh, it was my own fault. Uh, I was not operating in safety, but I was operating in ignorant machismo.
Right.
And I was working for myself, and I should have been protecting myself better.
Mhm.
Uh, and I was mad at myself because now I had put my daughter in this situation because I was not protecting myself. But in those days, uh, PPP and self protection
Right.
weren't really stressed. And when coming up,
True.
even coming up as a youngster, I recall one time putting a bandana over my face
Mhm.
because the dust was so
Right.
thick. And some of the older Masons got mad at me.
Mhm.
And they said, "What's the matter, punk? You can't handle it? Well, if you can't handle it, then get out of here."
Mm.
And that mentality and that attitude put a lot of really tough and skilled stonemasons in the
Right.
cemetery.
Wow.
But when I got sick, that changed a lot.
Mhm.
And I made sure that I raised awareness to people about it.
Mhm.
Uh, I was known as one of the toughest stonemasons there were. And everybody after that said, like, if it can happen to that guy,
Right.
it can happen to any of us. And
Mm.
so it did kind of change the landscape as far as safety goes after that.
It's overall a stressful situation dealing with everything that you had to go through, hearing that essentially you have a certain amount of time to live. I think if I'm told that I have 2 months to live, that's going to be a whole lot of things I'm about to go do and just to go try to enjoy life, and do all the things that I had on a bucket list. But that's got to be a overall stressful situation that adds on top of everything. How do you deal with it? And even in post of your double lung transplants, now 2-time double lung transplants, how do you deal with the stress that comes along with all of that?
Well, I truly believe that stress is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens in your life, and it's not an automatic that the next step you move to stress.
Yeah.
You still have a choice whether or not to put your energy into moving closer to the solution
Mm-hmm.
or wasting your energy being stressed out about something that stress is not going to change.
Right.
And then I also believe that if you choose stress too many times,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you develop an anxiety. I know there are probably other beliefs about this, but um, I learned that putting your energy into things like anger, hatred, frustration, jealousy, stress, those are all energy suckers, and there's no
I like
return
that.
on that investment.
Yeah.
Uh, me being stressed out about something was not going to change the fact that I was dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that you say about 2 months to live, because 8 years ago this week, I was told that I had 2 months to live.
Wow.
96 months ago, somebody told me I had 2 months to live. And I told them straight off, which one of you guys did God call?
Yeah.
Now I could have chose to be stressed out about that statement or even believe that statement. And if I would have believed it, I probably would have been dead within one.
Right.
But I did realize that in that making that statement to them, which one of you did God call? That only God knows when I go. Not even I know. And so I chose to fight. Instead of choosing to be stressed out, I put that energy into fighting for more than 2 months.
Yeah.
And boy, it's funny how God makes 2 months look like several years. And that investment of my energy, the return on that investment has been huge. So I feel like I did good on that one.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So you're moving into the speaker realm, and you seem, I follow you on social media. You seem busy as can be. You're always on the go. And then also still doing the stonemasonry work. How do you balance the time between your professional life, because essentially the speaker world is entrepreneurial. You've branded yourself, right? You're your own business now, but you still have your day job. How do you balance all of that with your personal life, with your wife, your family, and still trying to do all of these other goals as well too?
Well, I make spending time with my wife a priority.
Mm-hmm.
I make spending time with God the biggest priority.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I'm the boss when it comes to the stonework. So, as I always say, the boss is never late.
Right.
But it does take a lot of energy scheduling. And when it comes to the speaker stuff, that's a lot of work. Actually,
Yeah.
it's more work than I thought it would be. Like, you don't just go up and get on the
Right.
stage and start talking. That's not the way it works. That has to be real structured in your scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's brought me even more discipline than I had before.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also give me a reason to put things on a calendar that I'm working towards. And as a transplant recipient, it's hard to plan too far ahead,
Right.
because your life can change on the drop of a dime. But it is important to put some long range goals in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning, in the springtime, there was 3 things on my calendar that I was very focused on working towards.
Right.
And that was going to Dallas in May
Mm-hmm.
to film Speak Up Season 5 for Amazon Prime Video.
Okay.
Going to South Carolina for the Powerful on Purpose Summit for the great Dr. Tabitha Russell in August.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming here to Michigan and speaking on the Leadership Experience Tour for the great Sean Fair. Those were, when I would get tired at work,
Mm-hmm.
when I would bang my hand with the hammer, when I would drop a rock on my foot, I would say, just keep moving, keep it moving.
Wow.
You got things to do. you got these things to do. And I knocked the first two off my list. And a little bit later on today, I will be completing the third thing. And then it will be time for me to start putting some more things on my calendar. But it's giving me things to work for.
Yeah.
I've always worked very hard. I started working for money when I was 7 years old. And when I couldn't work, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like the provider I should be. And in many ways, I didn't even feel like a man, in the sense that I knew what feeling like a man was all about.
All right.
But I took that discipline of being a hard worker with a great work ethic, and I put that into working to get my body better, working to strengthen my mind, and mostly working hard to strengthen my spirit and my relationship with God the Father and Jesus. And so now I am realizing that my life is heading in a new direction. I'm wrapping up my career as a stonemason, as I've planted the seeds for my new career as a transformational coach,
Yeah.
an empowerment coach, and a public speaker. And I'm just keeping that same mindset of being a hard worker, having a great work ethic, having that self-discipline to do the things you need to do, even when you don't want to do them, even when you're tired, even when you have something going on. You have to be very disciplined. And I'm seeing that in my new career. It's just looks a little different.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to apply all the same principles.
Absolutely.
To my new career moving forward.
Absolutely. I know that you got a busy day ahead of you, but tell Manspace Nation, how can they follow you and get more information about you and your speaking engagements and things?
Well, you can go to my website, thelungtransplantStonemason.com.
Yeah.
I'm also on Instagram and TikTok as the Lung Transplant Stonemason.
Yeah.
And on LinkedIn and Facebook, I go by Mark Rodriguez. And you can find my logo. It's a stonemason about ready to strike a chisel with his hammer, and it's a black silhouette with two pink lungs inside of the black silhouette. And I post everything that I'm doing everywhere I'm going on social media. And at the end of this year, I'll be unveiling my empowerment coaching program.
Awesome.
And the book should be ready sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
All right.
And we are in the beginning stages of birthing the Warrior Life Academy.
Awesome. Awesome.
So if any of that resonates with anybody listening, hit me up and let's talk about it.
Sounds great. One last thing I want to ask of you, if you can share with the Manspace Nation a final word of wisdom or a quote.
Everybody's going to get hit hard by life. Everybody's going to get knocked down. But it doesn't matter how hard you get hit or how many times you get knocked down. The only thing that matters is that you stand up and you move forward. And remember that the dream will never wake you up and the dream will never chase you. So you have to wake yourself up and you chase that dream down like it owes you something, and you don't stop running until you get it.
That is so awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mark Rodriguez. Make sure that you check out his website, follow him on social media, and once we get the book out, I definitely want to have you on the show so we can talk about your book and promote that as well.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Manspace Nation, we'll be right back with more of the Manspace podcast and my interview with Mr. Tula Cabone. Manspace Nation, I got a chance to sit down with Mr. Tula Cabone. He is the CEO of Success Candle Co., a fragrance company that does cologne for men, perfumes for women, and so much more. But not only that, Tula is a radio show host. He has his own radio show on WHPR 88.1 FM in Detroit, Real Talk with Tula Cabone, which you're able to catch every Monday. Manspace Nation, please welcome to the Manspace Podcast, Mr. Tula Cabone.
We have Mr. Tula Cabone. He is founder, the CEO, and the entrepreneurial brand behind Success Candles Co. I got to tell you guys, man, this is the fragrance that you need in your life, guys, because it is voted the #1 fragrance company in Southeast Michigan. And we're trying to help take this all across the world, not just make it in Michigan. We want to make it all across the world. I got the man behind all of this right here with me. Let me guys introduce you to Mr. Tula Cabone. Welcome to the Manspace Podcast.
I appreciate the honor and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. First, get honest to God. First,
Amen.
say thank you for this opportunity.
So what got you into doing the fragrances and getting into colognes? What was the purpose behind getting into this?
Well, I started with, I know this may sound crazy, but I started with putting a dab of cologne into a candle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why we don't have colognes in a candle?
Right.
So my girlfriend was like, well, we can try that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started making colognes in a candle, cologne perfumes in a candle.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that the person I was getting my stuff from, the maker, was overcharging me. So from there, I was buying my cologne from him.
Right.
I said, well, let me try to make my own stuff.
Right.
So I was making cologne from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, the cologne is doing good.
Mm-hmm.
So let me try the lotion.
Right.
And in the history, well, after I did that, I understood my guy doing purpose.
Right.
Growing up, we couldn't afford cologne.
Mm-hmm.
It was too poor in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
So, to get a cologne for us was almost like a Christmas gift every day.
Right.
So, and I was noticing that the people was paying all this money for these colognes and they weren't lasting long.
Right.
You paying $200 for a Tom Ford vanilla.
True.
So I'm like, well, let me figure this chemistry out because I want to give it back. So I did. For a minute, I was making signature cologne. And then somebody said, well, make your own stuff.
Right.
I was afraid at first. I'll be honest, because you stepping in a field that you haven't seen a lot of African Americans physically into.
True.
And if they do got their own signature fragrance, they only got one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started making my cologne and I mastered the art of making them last on you all day for a reasonable price. Then from colognes, I went to lotion.
Mm-hmm.
And I always remember, so my mom used to say all the time, this may sound kind of crazy, but we was in a car and she said, your car smell like butt, give me some spray. My mom passed away now. So I would hear in the back of my mind, master the art of cologne to the level that your mom would be appreciative of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what started me. And my thing was, really, everybody should be able to smell good for a reasonable price.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't have to pay a ridiculous amount of money for a fragrance and a bottle that's decorated.
Right.
And the stuff, everybody knows this is true. They're going to pay all this money. 2 or 3 hours later, after sweating a few times, it disappears.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to master that, and I did it. And with the lotions, I use vitamin E in my lotion. One of the key ingredients. It holds moisture. So whatever you hold your skin together, like my hands, I put on lotions 3 hours ago.
Right.
You would think I just put some on. So really that's the history. I wanted people, particularly poor people, let me horn in,
Right.
to smell good
Right.
because we deserve to smell
I like that.
good.
I like
Everybody deserves that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to steal out the store or bootleg and you should be able to, because I believe how you smell is how you feel.
Mm.
Whenever you catch a person, you give them some smell good, that smell good gives you a whole lot of confidence.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It might not be what you wear, but it gives you confidence. And to me, that was my focus and seeing people happy about it.
Success Candle Co. Is there a meaning behind the name of how you got to that name?
Well, I believe in positive affirmation.
Yeah.
So I said success would be the name.
All
And
right.
at the time we was doing candles,
Got it.
so I said, okay, Success Candle Co. People criticize me for putting the word success in front of it. But I wanted success in front of it. So I put Success Candle Co. and that's how I got it.
Got it. Understood. I like that. I like the fact that you went for the positive affirmation because I'm a firm believer in you can have what you speak, right?
Absolutely.
If you say that, oh, I feel ill today, you're going to make yourself ill. If you feel well, I'm always so I'm well. No matter what's going on with me, I'm not sick, I'm not hurt, I'm well because I'm going to always put that out there. If you can always have what you want and it's just putting that positive around you and speak nothing but positive and put life into it.
Absolutely.
I saw a guy just recently, he did an experiment where he took 2 plants and one plant, he sat there and he cursed at it and spoke all negative to it. The other plant, we gave them both same amount of water, same amount of light, spoke positive to the other plant. The one he spoke positive to thrived. The one that he spoke negative to withered.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that was something that my grandmother, you would say some of the same things. Like all of her plants were named after her grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
And my mother to this day has a plant that my grandmother named after me. And she's, she keeps it and she talks to it every single day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So you definitely can have what you say. And if you're believing the positive.
Absolutely.
Now, being an entrepreneur yourself, right? How do you effectively balance the business side and your personal side? Because you mentioned your girlfriend earlier. Do you guys work together in this? Is it something that, being an entrepreneur, you're not necessarily working in a 9 to 5,
Right.
so you gotta hustle just to put food on the table being an entrepreneur. So it's like you're going to work a lot longer than the normal corporate America job. So how do you balance that?
Well, she's a drug counselor.
Mhm.
So, works at an addiction center.
Right.
So she counseling people that's going through drug crisis. Me, we balance.
Right.
Like, I need her to do something, I have her do it.
Right.
But most of the time, I'm like on what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Like I have stuff prepared ahead of time.
Right.
Like if I know like this event, I start making everything like Wednesday,
Right.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Mhm.
So the day came, I ain't have bombarded as I need to. Plus, my uncle stayed with me.
Yeah.
He's 68. I take care of him as well.
Mhm.
So within that time, I deal with, I enjoy going to the gym.
Right.
I go there 7 days a week. That's my personal time. But I recognize one thing, and this is my motto. Do I want to work for me or do I want to work for somebody else?
Right.
So that makes me put in the extra time I need to do what I need to do.
Mental health is something that is very, very important for men. And it's something that we as men, we don't talk about. We don't talk about mental health. A lot of times, and especially in the Black community, we're taught that you're supposed to be strong and you're supposed to be silent. But when it comes to mental health, you keep that to yourself because it's taught that it's a sign of weakness. So how do you balance that, your own personal mental health?
Well, I mean, trying to run your business can be stressful.
Yes.
So I'll talk to my girlfriend, or I call my brother, And I say, hey, man, you know, this is what I'm going through. You know, what type of decision shall I make? Or I talk to my uncle.
Right.
You know, I talk to somebody close to me because, you know, I believe or I know that mental health is the issue. And we all got to have somebody that we can trust to share those thoughts with or what we're feeling at the time. You know, if I'm going through a driving day,
Right.
you know, I might just sit back and don't have the TV on
Mhm.
and just relax. Have a fan blowing on me, get some rest.
Mm.
I'll say, God, you know, I pray and I'll relax. Or I might put on some music. But you got to spend time with yourself. When you know you're going through a mental crisis, this is my opinion. So I do something productive.
Right.
You know, and I just sit back and I'm a firm believer that we ain't go through mental crisis.
Absolutely.
I don't have this fake facade that I'm stronger than steel, I can deal with it. No, I can't. When it's too much for me to deal with, I just start praying and ask God to guide. I'll get in my car, cut the radio off, and I'll just start praying. And ask God to give me the strength to get to what I'm dealing. From there to answer.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that. Now, we all face different challenges in life, and like no one's journey is without its share of obstacles that they come across. So in your personal experience, especially trying to get this business off the ground, like what kind of adversities have you faced just trying to get your own business off the ground?
Discrimination. In Michigan,
See.
a lot of the stores are owned by Middle Eastern.
Mhm.
I went to them. I try to get my cologne in there. Some of them basically scoff and laugh, or they won't let me. One case, the guy did let me sell it.
Mhm.
He let somebody else compete against me,
Wow.
but I got to give him half this. Actually, when I leave, I'm going to get my stuff in the store. I got to give him half the money. So it's being locked out of a market
Mhm.
that's needed for our people.
Mhm.
And the stuff that they do sell in the stores, the Middle Eastern stores, it ain't no good.
Right.
Or they'll tell me, we got our own stuff here. No, we can't do that. And I just want this little sex. So that's the hardest thing for me to accept,
Mhm.
that in the city of Detroit, you know, that the Middle Eastern who dominates
Right.
the markets won't even allow me as a black man to sell my stuff, but I keep moving. Because, well, God bless, no other man can hold back.
Absolutely.
So I just keep moving and like meeting you, coming to events like this. I got my stuff. I'm blessed to put it in the store downtown Detroit known as Hot Sand.
Mhm.
It's a black store that has been open since 1921.
Mhm.
I seen them on TV. They was having an event and some told me, go down there and see if they gonna put your stuff in. Now I just took a chance.
Right.
I said, well, I'm gonna follow what God's putting on my mind.
Mhm.
They smelled it, they said, okay, we're gonna sell it.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that I do. But my biggest obstacle, big brother, is that, you know, and this is what I tell people. I don't have deal Sauvage money.
Right.
I don't have access to put it on TV. And honestly, how good my product is, and the fact that I'm charging a lot cheaper
Mhm.
than what somebody else may pay, it may be a fear factor.
Right.
That I'm gonna drive down the price of what they paying on this money. Because you think about it, it's like you paying F-150 costs you $50,000, and a brother in the hood make a car for $10,000
Right.
that works just as good as an F-150. You know, of course, they're gonna lock them out the market.
Right.
So that's my biggest obstacle was that it's not finance. You know, because I finance to myself and I save money with it. So it's not that; it's just discrimination part of it.
Right.
And I tell people, if I was selling dope, you'll let me in.
True.
You know, if I was selling
Absolutely.
drugs, say, so now you see a black man,
Mhm.
because your science to make a chemist that
Mhm.
works so well, people love it.
Right.
So now you want to block me out the market. But you let me sell dope in front of the store if I was selling marijuana or selling crack cocaine or whatever.
Right. Because it's not a benefit to them.
So nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would say. All right.
Wow. Wow. That's really good. From beginning to end, like how long is your process in developing a fragrance to the getting it to market?
So it's, I,
Mhm.
African history teaches your best thoughts come in the morning from the mind.
Mhm.
So I wake up in the morning, say, let me try to make whatever pops in my mind. I'll put something together. But it takes me less than 30 seconds when I mix what I want to mix up. Spray it on. I go to the gym, work out, have a few people smell it. They say, okay, that's a hit. So when I get feedback, then from there, it takes me maybe 2 or 3 minutes
Right.
to mix up. Because once I get what fragrances or what chemistry I want in there,
Right.
I write it down and I write their fragrance down and I use that same chemistry.
Wow.
For that particular fragrance I got. And I say, okay, this is what I need for this spray.
Wow.
And that's what I do.
How long have you been in this business?
I just started this business. When you seen me,
Right. That was
I had
March.
right, March,
Mhm.
I had just started probably so
Wow.
not even a year.
What was your background to get you into this?
I'm a paralegal.
Okay.
I did law. I had
Right.
worked in law offices.
Mhm.
A lawyer told me out Southgate, Michigan, and she's seen how skillful I am.
Mhm.
And she let me come to intern.
Mhm.
The white male lawyers, she said, well, I want y'all to tutor. He wanted me to start doing violence. Like,
Mhm.
I knew how to do what they was doing because I
Right.
studied that art. So I felt with discrimination. So she eventually told me you should do a freelance paralegal. I said, what's that? She said, you can go out and help the community
Right.
and make your own money. You help people with their paperwork and they'll pay you.
Right.
So I went out and started freelance paralegal.
Okay.
And from there, I was successful.
Mhm.
And I saved money. From
Gotcha.
there, I transitioned during the pandemic. All the courses shut down. So I had to transition over to something else.
Right.
So that gave me time to really think, and that transitioned me over to doing what I'm doing now.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That shows resilience,
Yes, sir.
to be able to go in one direction and really, because what you're doing now is a completely opposite direction,
Yes.
and being able to reinvent yourself and be successful again in another direction.
Yes.
Man, that's the way I look at it is that God gives you opportunity, but you got to put in the work
Absolutely.
once with that opportunity. And man, I applaud you on what you're doing. Can the Manspace Nation follow you, get more information, find your colognes? How can they find that information?
They can go to www.successcandleco.com. www.successcandleco.com. Or you can contact me at 586-563-5830. And it's 586-563-5830. Text me. I prefer that.
Mhm.
And you can catch me on Facebook on the Tula, Tula, Cabone, Kabone. Inbox me through Messenger and I'll see what your message is.
Sounds
Also, I got a radio show as well.
Mhm.
88.1 FM. I'm there every Monday between 5 and 6 a.m. I don't come to the website. But if you inbox me or call me, I'll give it to you.
Okay, give that station one more time.
88.1 FM, Detroit, Michigan. If you Google it, it also gives you a website, a link, where you can literally hit that link and watch me on live every Monday between 5 and 6.
Sounds
And I deal with urban issues.
Mhm.
Talk of urban issues.
Absolutely. I like that. Before I let you go, can you share some wisdom with the Manspace Nation? Just give me like one of your favorite quotes that drives you.
Never give up. My motivation is being a black man in America. Coming from poverty. I grew up home. Well, let me rephrase that. Mississippi had poverty like no
Yeah.
else,
Absolutely.
right? And
Mhm.
we didn't have opportunities to like we do up here in Michigan,
Mhm.
Ford plants and all that. So poverty was cruel. So we got evicted. So at some point, I was a high school athlete, was good at it. But after the games, me and my brothers was going to McDonald's, digging in the trash can for the food they had. Because I learned from a classmate that they would throw the old food out
Right.
and nobody tamper with it.
Right.
But we would go get the food and take it home and eat. Our electricity was off for 4 months. Our water was off. My dad lost his leg. He wasn't supposed to when I was 14, well, about 15 to 16. It was crucial in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And the discrimination I have faced, being a black man a heterosexual black man with strong conviction, has been horrible. And what I tell brothers, no matter what your life look, keep your faith in God. You're going to have people hating on you. Let your haters become your motivator. Every time somebody say I can't, I say, yes, I can. And I keep moving forward. So when they see me, they're like, wow, man, you the, I say, yeah. Use my motivation. Use my motivation because you said what I couldn't do. Right. I couldn't. And I tell brothers, black men, please do not give up on yourself. No matter what your obstacles is. If you're going through something and it has to do with a woman and you can't deal with it, sometimes you just got to walk away for a second. Because brothers, I was watching somebody, Shazali Ali. It's called The Black Woman Guide to Understand the Black Man. I listened to her quite on YouTube a lot.
Right.
And she breaks down the concept of how black man and black woman relationship is. Then it can be a universal thing, whether you're married to a black man or not. But the concept is about men. We're physical. We get mad, we want to punch and fight.
Yeah.
Women are verbal. And a lot of brothers get in trouble because of that. They can't. It's okay to learn to block stuff out.
Yes.
And then I'll tell brother, make better choices. When you try to succeed and do your stuff, Pookie, you can't hang around Pookie like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I tell brothers that Pookie don't have the same objective and goals that you have no more.
Right.
It was cool to hang around him at some point. Like me, by me changing my course in life, there's certain guys I know I can't run with.
Right.
Because they don't tell them who they want to buy, what they done did.
Right.
I just told the brother today. I knew the brother, good brother. I don't know this love. Alcoholic, homeless. I gave some money last week. I see him at the gate. I'm getting my car. He wanted to jump in my car, told me, give me a ride to the store. I said, bro, I'm on a mission. He got mad. I'm like, put you in my car because I don't know what you're doing. And he got mad at me and did somebody I care about. But caring is also caring about me first.
Absolutely.
You've got to make great decisions. And sometimes it's okay to tell people no.
Yep.
You can't be a people pleaser, man. God put something on your heart. Follow that. And if you know your gut feeling telling you, or God telling you, hey, man, they calling you to go get him some garments at 12 o'clock at night, and you got an event to tend to tomorrow morning, you got to say, hey, man, I'm out of there. They can call you chicken, coward, sell out, whatever. That's the biggest thing. I really get upset at brother, particularly young brother. And we make.
Right.
Our loyalty is blind, but it's stupid loyalty.
Right.
You can't have stupid loyalty to people. You could be in a relationship with a woman or just a relationship with people. Your loyalty has to be to God and to what's right. And from there, everything else on. But I tell you, brother, most important, whatever you're going through, do not get, I don't care if you're in a homeless shelter. I'd have slept in, I'd have been homeless. I've slept in cars, all that, because in high school, my family got put out. We got put out. My mom and dad was in the hospital at the same time. Me and my brothers were sleeping in the car. People see us getting off the bus. That was painful. So my brother now, he has the #1 drywall company in Southeast Michigan. One of the brothers is Chef. My sister, esthetician. My little brother took care of my mom. I'm an entrepreneur in my own way. That's power.
Yep.
But we never gave up. And my brother is a drywall. He's a millionaire. So from poverty. Yeah, and I talk about businesses and stuff like that. But we never gave up.
I love it.
We never gave up.
I love it.
And it's brothers like you, let me give you credit. It's brothers like you which spoke wisdom to me when I was in my worst moments. Just a kind word of encouragement. I tell brothers that. Hey, man, you see about $1 a lot. Give $1, say, oh, man, I'm wishing you luck.
Yeah.
God got your back.
Yeah.
So that right there can change about the whole course and motivation for this day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Listen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a link to your website off of my website.
Thank you so much.
Manspace Nation, I want you to check out and support this brother, Success Candle Co. It's going to be up on our site, and all the information, all of his contact information is going to be up on there as well. So Manspace Nation, make sure that you check out Success Candle Co. I got a bunch of the fragrances and I wear them, and I want you guys to wear them too. Manspace Nation, this is Russ, and we'll be back to you.
One more thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry they had this thing. The money I get, I'm a community activist. So I take that money and advocate for senior citizens.
Mm.
Senior citizens, 6 million seniors are abused every year in America.
Yep.
Nursing homes are full.
They are.
My mom was a victim of a sexual assault in a nursing home
Oh my goodness.
in Michigan, right? So she was only there for rehab. They kept her there for rehab. One of the staff members infected my mom with COVID-19. April the 20th, April the 8th, 2020, my mother passed away from that. She had COPD. We did sue the nursing home. It was a fight though. It's a fight. So my thing is now is really advocate senior citizens need more lobbyists. We need more people to care about them. We need more laws to protect them, particularly in the nursing home. I also help people in the community. I help those who, if they're on drugs, I talk to them. I counsel them. I wrote a book called The Truth About Drug Addicts.
Mm.
You know, in depth of the stuff that they've been through. I've never been on drugs,
Right.
but I've been around people who did drugs, and I coached them about a drug to the point they had successful life.
Where can people find that book?
Well, I have. But you know,
Okay.
contact me.
Okay.
I don't really put it on. And I'll be telling you that. They blocked me out the market on that.
Wow.
When I went to the NA meetings, AA meetings, I said, well, yeah, I have a book. We don't take private material and put it into our program. I'm like, wow. You know, and a lot of the programs in Michigan are ran by Caucasian or people that's not African American.
Mhm.
So they shield me out of it
Mhm.
because the book itself gives you a formula on how to truly deal with people who's on drugs. And I applied the formula and they became successful.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk because we're gonna figure out a way to put that as an ebook
Thank you so much.
and get that out there where more people can get that
Okay, thank you.
resource. So we're gonna sit and talk on that one.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Manspace Nation, this is Tula Cabone. Make sure you check out successcandleco.com. Go to our website and make sure that you check the link out because there will be a link up there to get straight to his information.
Thank you.
And make sure that you guys support.
Thank you so much.
Right.
I enjoyed it.
Appreciate you.
Manspace Nation, that is it for this episode of the Manspace Podcast. So on that note, Les isn't here, so I guess I got to do it myself. We out of here. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Manspace.
Whichever platform you listen to us on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss a show.
Remember to keep up with all the Manspace updates on our website, themanspacepodcast.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at ManspaceNat1.
Until next time, Manspace Nation, he's Les, I am Russ, and we are out
Out of here.